Don't let the bed bugs bite. Welcome to the science fiction rating system, where today we're watching and chatting about Ridley Scott's Alien Covenant. And I'm Chris, and with me is Sam and Alex. Say hello.
Hey!
Ooh. Did you like my quote?
I loved it.
Oh, yeah.
Loved
I
it.
even put on the accent.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of quotes in this film, actually.
Oh, hell yeah.
Quite a lot of tasty quotes. I'll do the fingering came in a close second.
Yep. I've got, do make yourselves at home as best you can in this dire necropolis. That's my...
Yeah. Shame you didn't do the accent, though.
Oh, yeah, sorry, that's just how I talk,
Yeah.
Really, everything David says is quotable, isn't it? His whole...
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry if we're skipping ahead. I don't remember him being anything like this in Prometheus.
Ridiculous.
I mean,
He was a little bit like it because he was watching all them old British war movies.
He's not quite as on the nose, is he, though?
No.
As this, when he walks into it, he goes, "How about some music, mother? Das Rheingold, the gods enter Valhalla." It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yes. So today we're chatting about Alien Covenant, which is a 2017 sequel to Prometheus, which was 2012. So a little gap, quite a gap for a sequel.
Did he go into... Because there was... So Prometheus... Is it that he didn't want Prometheus to be about what it was? Or was it Covenant supposed to be about something else? Or
I think to assert there's any grand plan over this, I think, is a big stretch.
Well, I know that he was very adamant there were to be no aliens in Prometheus.
Yeah.
And then it came out and everyone said, "Where's the alien?" And then so you realised, oh, actually, you should put the alien in the next one. And so
right.
Yeah.
There's a good quote somewhere I read, I think Wikipedia somewhere, of him saying, like, "I was totally wrong on that." Everyone wanted the alien.
Yeah. It's funny that when you're making an alien film to not put that alien in it.
Well, you can see, though, why he would want to distance himself in a way. Like,
This has
Chris
at least has
wasn't called
alien in the title, which obviously Prometheus did not.
Yeah.
And, people love and hate Prometheus. Most people don't like it. You guys don't really like it. I'm a bit on the fence.
It's very low on our list, isn't it? Where is
Very
it?
low on the list. And then this
164.
was... Yes, and this was... Probably people expected this to solve all of the errors perceived by the fans.
Yeah.
This was going to be the
Comeback.
oh, sorry about that. This was the Alien film we meant to do, which is still a prequel to Alien, which we still want to see that proper, worthy prequel, really, don't we?
Yeah.
So this is what we got. So basically, it's pretty similar setup to Prometheus, right? It's like, just for some unknown reason, we've got a different ship a few years later.
Yeah, they do say how many years later, but
10 years later.
10 years after Prometheus disappeared.
Yeah. So I don't know. I sat down. I was looking forward to I'm always looking forward to an alien film when I go to the cinema. Whenever it's going to be an alien film. So
I wasn't looking forward to it at all.
I didn't
You're
watch
just
it.
a cynic. You're always, you're just a lifelong cynic.
I literally avoided this film, and I think I avoided this film when it came out. I think I recorded it when it was on TV recently, and then thought, okay, I'll just watch it. And then when we said we were doing it, I was like, right, fine, then we will. I will watch it now because I hadn't actually watched it.
Then you don't deserve an alien film, really, do you?
Oh, we recorded our Prometheus episode the week this came out, I think, and I mentioned before that the podcast after that has got me and Chris talking about our opinions of it.
Interesting. Ooh.
Yeah.
So we start off in a very in a white sort of house, don't we, with with Wayland and David.
Yeah. They're
A younger
finally,
Wayland.
Young
yeah, they're finally,
Wayland.
yeah, they're finally paying off the fact that it was always Guy Pearce in a load of stupid makeup in Prometheus, which made no sense at the time. Yeah, doing that. Yeah.
And I always thought the viral marketing of these films is very good. Like in the Prometheus, they had like a David advert, and
Yeah.
the viral marketing is 10 times better than the movie, really.
Yeah.
So, are they suggesting there's only one David?
Yes.
Wouldn't this be a mass-produced product, right?
No, isn't it? Don't they say that the David has like emotions and can create art and stuff, whereas the general Wayland line of robots don't have that element?
Right. Because they sell the original David from Prometheus as a mass-produced product, because it was like David version 9.
Yeah.
Like version 7 or something.
Because the idea is that every colony ship or every ship's got a David, isn't it, in the first one?
I think this film is trying to say that David is different to all the other
I
Davids.
think they're going back on what they meant.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah.
So Wayland's obviously a mega rich twat. He's got like the Michelangelo's David in his flat, like in a display. It's displayed in a way you can't even see it. Like it's like up a chimney, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's real rich.
Yeah, I mean that's rich.
Yeah, that's rich.
I need that chimney stuffed up. Should I put a statue up there?
Put a Michelangelo up there.
Yeah, fine, do it.
Should we brick it up? No, just get Michelangelo's David and stick it up there.
Where's Yutani and all this? That's what I want.
Where's Rome and all the places which would normally have Michelangelo's statue? Where's like
at least
Vatican
the pigeons?
or wherever it is?
At least the pigeons don't come down anymore.
Yeah. What I don't like about these movies fundamentally is this quasi-religious garbage.
Which they really amp up in this film, don't they?
My God.
Because there was none of that in the original Alien, and there didn't need to be. Now, I don't mind there being this sort of theme of like a very Puritan, like how the Puritans went from England to America, and they were the You don't realise America was basically founded by religious nut jobs.
Yeah.
Who would get on a ship thinking that there was this place where they could make like a new Eden for themselves. So I don't mind that sort of themes, because that could happen again, maybe.
Yeah, like you say, themes though, not explicitly over the.
These people have got spaceships, they've got highly advanced technology. They're obviously from our culture, but in the future by 100 years, right? So why now are they looking for a creator of the human race? I don't understand that.
Also, like that idea of a religious thing going to settle somewhere. Alien 3 did that better already with the colony, just to make sure Alien 3. And if this film was that it was literally an arc ship full of all religious nuts, would be better than
one guy. Yeah, just the one blinking guy, yeah.
Also, this film was called Alien Paradise Lost until just before release, which is so on the nose with what they're trying to get at with the religious thing of it. I'm glad they changed the name, but it's still... exactly shows what their mind is with it.
But Covenant is still a religious term.
Oh yeah, totally. But it's not as like Paradise Lost. It's basically the plot of this film, isn't it, with David and.
But this whole speech and this whole back and forth about where do I come from, and like, oh, if you made me, then I'm, and all that. It's like they've gone, all right, okay, so it didn't really make sense in Prometheus. I need to put in something here to try and talk. It's so like it feels so shoved in and like in your face, like, oh look, this is what the film's about. Eat this. This is what the film's. It's so annoying. Alien. And Alien 3, because I'm a convert now, Aliens, lesser so, and Alien 3, you can make them about so many different things if you want to. Yeah. The themes, like you say, the themes are there, but you can go, you know what, I'm rejecting all that. I think it's about, transsexuality or something if you want to. But this is so like, I'm telling you what this film's
this
about.
This is what we're doing.
Yeah, this is what it's about.
In some ways, I wouldn't mind if we saw the wider world and we realised that the human race are logical and, like, on the most part, basically us, but 100 years' time.
Yeah.
But there's this one guy and this one company who are a little bit off the fucking charts.
Yeah, who just happen to make
they don't show that. We're only seeing it through the lens of Wayland, really, aren't we?
And that's the problem with these prequels, I think, is that because Alien as a film is such a primal horror film about unknowing stuff.
Yeah.
That when you start to show things, to show knowing and knowledge of stuff, you're instantly hitting a brick wall against the fact that if you're going to make an Alien film, you can't show things because it doesn't add up properly.
No.
And so
but that goes for showing the creature, but it also goes for explaining the company and all the backstory.
Exactly, everything. Exactly.
Explaining
totally.
everything.
And so what you're saying, Chris, there about showing the world and stuff like that, if they did do that, it would be an even worse Alien film, but a better film. If they made a film about that had no alien in it, pretty better film, wouldn't it?
But what I'm saying, the original Alien film, they were normal people. They weren't Puritans, were they?
No.
And that's why it worked.
Well, they're just us in space, aren't they? Which is why it works as a horror
just
film.
truckers.
Blue collar workers in space.
Yeah.
But also, it's so frustrating, isn't it? Because Ridley Scott's obsessed with all this ancient alien stuff. But why can't he go and make that film somewhere else? Why does he have to link it to Alien?
There's tons of it on Netflix and like Amazon.
Yeah, but why couldn't he just make Prometheus be a standalone science fiction that wasn't in the Alien world? Why did he have to muddy a perfect thing?
Well, that's Fox, isn't it? Though he's not going. If he goes to Fox and they want to make this film, they're going to go put Alien in it. You know.
I just struggle with it because it's like innately illogical.
Yeah.
Because of. It's not illogical in the sense of like they've made an organism out of what was a weapon system, right?
Yeah.
But because that makes sense in kind of like on the face of it, if you say, oh, there's a droid that's gone wrong and he's found an alien weapon and he wants to destroy his creators, right?
Yeah.
That is an interesting story. But what they've done is what starts this story where they're stood in with Wayland and there's and Prometheus are saying what starts a story is we are logical humans who want to find God, and that doesn't make any sense.
No. Like you say, it's not just a robot that's gone mad. The whole beginning was we're on a mission to find out who made us.
Yeah. So we're on this colonization ship, the Covenant. Then it's very complicated as well, right? So they've been sent out into a big, to take some colonists to a planet which they think is inhabitable, right?
Done lots of research, apparently, haven't they? About the planet?
They've done loads of research, literally. Yeah. I mean, if you were planning a mission of this magnitude, with like thousands of lives at stake,
2,000 colonists and 1,140 embryos, and there's like 15 crew. Yeah.
Well, the crew, that was similar in the other one, the
Prometheus.
No, the one with the blue people. The Avatar, where there's a small crew that look after the people who are asleep. Yeah. And they might be brought out. That's fine. And I can accept that, like, David's on there as the caretaker. But what I don't understand is they get woken up to fix a malfunction, and then they just completely change their plans to go to this new planet that they discovered.
So stupid. I mean, not only is it stupid, but they spend so long going over this decision, and they have this discussion about 4 times. They keep going, and the woman keeps going like, "Oh, we shouldn't change our plans," and the new captain's like, "We should." They keep saying it, and
he's
so
a religious
they're
one,
going to do
isn't he?
it.
Yeah.
He's what, sorry?
He's a religious one, isn't he?
He's a religious one.
She says, can I tell you exactly what she says?
Go on.
She says, we've spent a decade searching for Augia 6. We vetted it, we ran simulations, we mapped the terrain. It's what we're trained for. And the religious one's like, oh, I understand that. And she says, and now we're going to scrap all that to chase a rogue transmission. Think about it. A human being out there where there can't be human beings. A hidden planet that turns up out of nowhere and just happens to be perfect for us. It's too good to be true. And then he says, too good to be true. What do you mean by that? And it's like, well, everyone knows what too good to be true means.
Yeah, she literally just explained to you what she means by it. Yeah. That whole sentence.
Yeah, and then he's like, oh, maybe we just missed the planet.
I think they're
no, because it's got English stuff coming from it, hasn't it? They're playing this music coming from it.
Yeah, oh no, and then she also says, this is a monumental risk not worth taking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I ask a question here about plot as well? Why is the implication they're woken up because of something
Yeah, because the ship gets hit by a solar flare.
Yeah,
right?
solar flare.
So
James Franco dies.
Well, he wakes them all up. James Franco's reawakening fucks up.
But you know the fact they hit the solar flare near this planet, David's planet. Is that just a coincidence, or is that by design? Or is that not explained?
Oh God,
you know?
Yeah.
The thing is, though, a solar flare like that, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. It's very muddled, is Ridley, because even in the first Prometheus, you know, where there was like that pattern of stars which are in all these ancient things, and then they do this like holographic projection, and they go, yeah, and we found this pattern of stars up here, and then he goes, and there's a planet. He goes, the planet, which star is the planet round? Like, it doesn't make any sense. You're getting stars, planets, constellations.
Yeah.
You do realise constellations, the stars of a constellation, them stars are nowhere near each other because there's distance involved. Like, it's mental.
Also, isn't it weird that it's James
Written
Franco?
by a child.
It's weird, it's James Franco. Really weird, yeah.
I mean, you see a photo. I think, is he in flashbacks? You see a photo of him.
Yeah, you see like a selfie
video
where he's like climbing.
Yeah, in a video.
Mountain.
And then he's scarred, burnt body in the body. Like all burnt in the body.
It's a bit so weird how he wants to be in the Alien films, but then it's like he doesn't.
Yeah, what a weird piece of casting.
It's a weird bit of casting. It's not even like in the last one we watched, that Ryan Reynolds
To be honest,
thing.
though, if you're an actor and you go, oh, can I be in an Alien film and I've got a really good death?
Yeah.
That's kind of all you're going to get out of it, isn't it? So you might as well have a good death.
But like they didn't like sell it with him on the poster, like which they did with that Life.
Yeah, they did. It's not a fake
put him in
out.
the marketing a bit, wouldn't you?
Also, it related to James Franco's death. Who is the one member of the crew that is against them holding any sort of ceremony for James Franco's passing? Can you remember?
Dude.
It's the religious dude.
Yeah, the captain.
Dude whose entire base... He's the only person who actually would have a reason, as part of his faith, to hold a ceremony for someone's death.
Why did he want to do a ceremony again?
Because he's a fucking idiot.
Well, there's no reason, because they do it, don't they? He watches them do it.
Yeah.
And he's not busy. He just sat on the screen watching them.
He just gets pissed. He's watching them. He's the one person who would want to do it. It's the opposite way round. He's the only person that would want to do it because it would make sense to him because he's the
really,
man
they
of
should
faith.
they should all be trying to get back on mission. And he's like, well, we can go and bury the body on that planet because that's something like that would make more sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, or he should have like some sort of scripture that he's particularly interested in and it's kind of following the same steps.
Yeah.
And he's
I mean, his faith is as deep as I'm faithful. I have faith. That is literally his.
Oh yeah, I mean
isn't it?
It's a very surface. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
I wouldn't
broad
even
as that.
mind if it's more like if he was literally like a Noah's Ark nut or something.
Yeah.
Like that would be more interesting.
Does he even mention what his faith is? Does he even mention he's Christian or anything like that at any point?
He says he saw the devil once.
He doesn't mention what his religion was, does he?
No.
At all, I don't think.
Yeah.
Did he wear a cross? I can't remember if he wears a cross or not.
I don't know.
I think it was.
They're chickened out of it, haven't they, really, I think?
Also, he doesn't believe in luck or fate, which I think is ridiculous again for someone who is the only person who has a belief system. I'm not saying that everyone that's religious believes in those things, but if you have a belief system and you believe in a god and a higher power, you would believe in fate. And he literally says he doesn't believe in fate.
It seems like they've done very poor like background and psychological reviewing of these people who are gonna.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. And did you know, in earlier drafts of the script, the incoming transmission was supposed to be a prayer, but the filmmakers felt this was too corny and changed it to a John Denver song, which, that's not corny or random or stupid at all. I wrote down, right, them knowing that John Denver song is like me and you knowing some medieval, like, sonnet, isn't it? Like, how far in the future this is?
No, it's only 100 years, I think.
Is it only from where we are?
It's 2100, isn't it?
That should be Wagner, shouldn't it? That should be Das Rheingold that plays at the end. That should be what's being broadcast.
Yeah, why is it this weird John Denver?
That's what we're listening to. It makes sense. Then, like, thematically, they're entering Valhalla, going down to the planet and stuff as well.
Yeah, why is
John
that?
Denver makes no sense.
No.
Anyway.
Yeah, so I do like the space suits when they're fixing things. Again, the design, the production design is pretty cool. I actually think the spaceship is garbage. Like the actual design of the spaceship doesn't make any sense at all.
No, doesn't
make any sense. Like it all moves as well. Do you know what I mean? Like it's all like floppy. It doesn't really.
I thought the CG was crap in this as well. Like it didn't hold up at all. I didn't think the spaceship shots.
No, I agree. There's another. I've got another good quote here. When they use the lander, "I'm good with my wife's tits." That's another.
Yeah, their attempts at banter is pathetic, isn't it?
I mean,
it's really bad.
I wondered if this whole film is actually about you should never work with your partner.
Because to get eaten by an alien.
Well, no, just because all these people. I'm assuming they're trying to have some kind of logic here that the crew have all got romantic partners, don't they?
Start families and they get that stuff. Yeah.
Well, because there's even I think one of them is gay, so I was a bit like, this is a bit heteronormative. But I think one guy is gay. But they all mainly seem to be like man-women couples, don't they? And I'm assuming it's like, it's such a long mission. At least you got your wife with you. But it feels a little bit like that was the worst decision they could do because they make loads of stupid errors because they know my wife's down there or no, my husband. Yeah. It's all too emotional, and then they get so upset when someone dies that they can't carry on anyway. Yeah, so it's almost like never work. It's like it's a whole.
You've got thousands of con lists. You could probably let the 14 people on the crew not have any relationships.
Yeah. It's like Ridley Scott had a bad time working with his like ex once, and he was like, you know what? I really need people to understand. You should never make a film with someone that you're in love with or in a relationship with.
Well, what you need is like all the colonists can be couples, and then the people actually looking after the ship need to be like military, really, don't they?
Yeah. Basically, they should be. They're not.
So they figure out this planet, right? And considering it's so important, their mission, and you think they just orbit for a few weeks, wouldn't you? And just like scan the shit out of this planet.
Yeah.
Yep.
The idea that you actually have to fly down to find out what's there is mad.
Yeah.
Completely mad.
Couldn't you pick up a signal if it's a human being there or something moving? Couldn't you scan it and see?
You could do any sorts of thing. I know there's cloud. I know they said there's a storm, so you can't see the service. But like even now, we can do like laser and radar grammetry of. We can find like ruins in the forest with radar scans from.
Sorry, Alex. Go on.
Ironically, there is no life on that planet except for David. So it'd be, once they worked out there was no life on the planet and they saw this one thing moving, they'd know exactly where he was because there's nothing else moving, is there, on the whole planet?
Also, the airborne infection that gets them, right? Even here now, we know that, like, if you're going somewhere...
Mate, that we haven't even gotten onto the...
It's just ridiculous.
So, these people's jobs are to colonise, right?
Yeah.
And to go on to another planet, right? Were they just going to, just land and just figure it out? Like,
just going to build that wooden shack. That's the plan. Yeah, that's all the plan is. We've got some wood to build a shack.
But there's zero, quarantine or there's zero concern for anything which they should be concerned about, which is their actual job.
My favourite line in the film as well is when they get to the wheat field and that one goes, this is wheat. I know wheat. I know wheat.
Yeah.
And that kind of hand waves it all. After that, they're like, well, it must be habitable because there's wheat here, so don't worry about the fact
he was obviously hired as the wheat expert because you need one of them on this kind of mission.
There's a great one afterwards when they go like, but who planted it? Like, that's obviously the question. Yes, we all get that.
But they've got... Yeah, so the thing is, in terms of guys with guns...
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no one there.
Yeah.
But they're concerned about, they were concerned about something which... guns would help with, like something walking around. They're concerned about quite an advanced life, even though they haven't bothered to even scan the planet.
Yeah. Take the guns
they're not
anyway.
concerned about any sort of biological hazard.
No.
Not at all.
Why is there only one robot on board as well? And why don't they only just... If this kind of mission feels like it should be all robots running
I don't know. If that the robot... I mean, Walter's probably costs the same as the ship.
Yeah.
It's probably quite an expensive thing.
Shouldn't really send him down to the planet then, should they?
Or just send him.
Or just send him, yeah.
I'd probably just get him to do all the things that humans might fuck up at, like flying the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they get down there with their little lander, and then they just go walking around.
And having a piss as well. Just pissing and pissing at things.
Ridiculous. And then we see these like spores, like these flying spores for coming out of some fungus. And I'm like, well, that can't have anything to do with it because we know that that's not in the life cycle of like this thing. And it just gets into the... So basically, two of them start getting infected, don't they? And then...
Very quickly.
Very quickly. None of the rules being followed here.
Although, to be fair, we are an hour into the film by the time anything really happens.
Oh,
so
God, yeah. Did you know, in the prequel novel by Alan Dean Foster... I think, isn't he the guy that refused to write the third Alien novel because he was so upset with Newt dying? I mean, it might be the same. Anyway, the character Lope, which I think is a security one, mentions the people he is recruiting for the colony expedition are explicitly not meant to be intellectually overqualified or superb tactical fighters, fearing they might challenge his promised position as planetary head of security in the colony. So a lot of the incompetence and idiocracy displayed is directly a result of Lope recruiting those not particularly bright to be able to think for themselves. That feels like he watched the film and was like, man, we need to explain why these people are such idiots.
That is an author who realises to write his book, he can't hand wave as much as possible, so he's got to start explaining some of this bullshit in the only way he can.
What a weird way to explain it, though, that the person that recruited them didn't want anyone too clever, so he employed stupid people. Like, what?
It's just not really on. So basically, I mean, I was just thinking, up until this point, it's like the same as Prometheus, right?
Yeah, it has been,
and almost same as the first Alien, really, very similar.
Yeah.
So two of them start getting ill. They actually see a wreck of a ship again, don't they? So basically, still the same. And then one of them has a chest burster again, quite quickly.
Yeah, it's just
out his back.
Yeah, out his back burster.
Yeah,
and it doesn't. Why are they suddenly doing it this quick now?
And then the woman shoots the thing, and it blows up the thing, and blows up the ship. And then there's another one running around.
There's one that the bloke splits in half or something, doesn't he?
It comes out of his mouth or something.
Yeah,
and then starts running around, and David basically scares it away with a flare.
Yes.
And then we meet David.
Yeah. At this point, there's a lot. It's a weird little motif, but there's lots of people with their hoods up in this film. There's a lot of people with hoods up, and then they kind of throw them off or put them up. There's a weird hood thing going on in this. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's like a couple of religious, couldn't it? Like a
monks. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. It's a bit like Alien 3.
Yeah.
And then he takes them back to a city, which is deserted, and then we see basically a flashback, don't we, of like when he turned up with the...
I didn't get this right.
Just killed everyone.
He goes out with Walter, doesn't he? And he's looking across the city.
Yeah.
And he's like, what happened? And this flashback happens, right? But we don't... They never explain how... Because obviously Walter doesn't see this, does he?
No.
So his implication that David's explaining...
I think the implication is he's just told the story.
He's told the story, right? Okay, but I guess without the problem with it is that later on Walter
without
goes,
the bit where I killed everyone.
Yeah, Walter says, "Oh well, it wasn't an accident. You did it, right?" But the problem is that the version we see, it's blatantly obvious that he did it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when Walter then says, "Oh, it wasn't an accident," well, we never thought it was an accident because we saw him stand there and drop bombs on the whole city. So they should have explained it rather than shown it and gone, "Oh, but an accident happened." He never says that to Walter.
It's not very. I always wonder, like these highly advanced beings. They don't seem to have a very good planetary defense system. If two alien Muppets can nick one of their ships and then
because these guys made us, didn't they? The engineers made us.
They made everything.
They're our god.
Yeah, they made the weapon. They made us with the weapon.
Yeah. So you're right. Their technology should be more advanced or advanced enough to know that if a ship comes over the city.
Shoot it
Don't
down.
gulp up at
well,
it,
if it docks, because it kind of docks to a thing, doesn't it? And it's like, oh, hi, yeah, the ship's returned, whatever. We've got loads of these ships. But it's like I can't see a situation where they would not foresee, or be able to stop that.
Why don't they scan the ship and see that it's a human and a robot? They would not know what they would be like. Well, what are those things? They would be aliens to them, wouldn't they? You're right. Why would they not attack them?
Yeah, I just don't see how they would just let that happen. Or unless in their culture there's like no. I mean, this is me fixing it. In their culture, they don't even contemplate the idea of them killing themselves. Like, because they see their own ship and they go, oh, that's us. I don't know. But that means there'd been no war within their civilization between themselves.
I hadn't seen this film, but at this point in this film, I almost felt like this was a rip-off of an Alien. Like, it was almost like a straight-to-DVD sequel to Prometheus at this point, to me. It didn't feel like... I know it's got him in it, Fassbender in it, but he's made some terrible filmic choices in the past. It felt a bit like someone had gone, oh, we need another one of those films. Oh, Ridley doesn't want to be involved. Because like you say, it's treading all the same ground as Prometheus. So it's almost like a rip-off or like a kind of quick sequel, like a straight-to-DVD sequel at this point.
It's kind of like he's just had another swing at the same story.
Yeah, the fact they call it Alien as well, it's clear they just thought, it didn't work before, let's do it again. Let's do it right, you know.
Yeah. And also, we haven't said, and the reason we haven't said is because of what I'm going to say, the main character, Daniels, is immensely unlikable. She is not a good main character.
Rubbish.
Just because her husband, James Franco, died, and she's the only one who's sensible enough to think that this was a silly idea, that doesn't make her this amazing...
No Sigourney Weaver.
She's no Sigourney Weaver.
Do you know what the original script for Paradise Lost was? The big difference with it? It was that Noomi Rapace wasn't dead. And that they went down and find her hiding from David. And she basically is the leader of the movement to get rid of him and get back off the planet. So I'm guessing that her role is to replace the Shaw role they cut out or something like that. And probably wasn't actually...
That sounds a bit better.
Yeah. But that might be why she's not much to her, because perhaps she wasn't actually the lead at that point. Maybe it was Shaw that was the lead still.
Yeah.
So we see that David's kind of got his little workshop, which doesn't make any sense. Like, he's made this lovely, like, where's he getting the paper from? Where's he getting the candles from? Where's he getting, the power from? How's he doing any of what he's saying he's doing with literally what looks like Stone Age technology?
Yeah.
What's the quote when he's like, welcome to my delectable hellhole or something like that? Something stupid.
House of Horrors or something like that.
And he's cutting his hair in the mirror and singing like a Mad Robot song. Like, I mean, it is so like so cheesy and bad.
Really cheesy, yeah.
And also, both Fassbender's accents sound crap.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't sound good as the American or as the English. And I forgot that, Chris, you're right. He did watch all those old films and it makes sense. But at this, if you don't, I couldn't remember that. And I was just like, why is he doing those stupid voices? Like, they're just annoying. Like,
they are.
He's like watching Bridge Over the River Kwai and stuff in the first film, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, you're right. No, I forgot about that.
So they explain that got this pathogen and then it destroyed all the animals on the planet, right?
Well, he did it deliberately, didn't he?
Yes. I don't know how they figured out how to do that, but they did. And how is the planet still alive? Like, where are the pollinators? Where are there's that field of corn. What's pollinating that?
Yeah.
And who made that corn? Where's that come from?
What's fertilising that?
It's a big question that no one answers.
Yeah, like, the wheat field, doesn't that suggest that someone was making wheat?
I mean, you could say that maybe that's an alien form of wheat, which the original creators, when they seeded Earth, they seeded it with humans and a basic sort of wheat, and that's kind of what I mean,
I know wheat. That's wheat. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm doing the work for them here. Like,
you're doing a lot of work for them.
But 10 years have passed since he killed them all, haven't they? So what's
that's it. I mean, there shouldn't be any plants. Like,
but also the big thing for me here is I didn't need. I kind of wanted to know who the big thing was in the first Alien film when you see the big engineer or whatever it's called, the navigator. What do they call it? What do we use?
It's called engineer, isn't it?
Yeah, what we used to call it in the good old days when we didn't have all this. I did want to know that was a little bit. It wasn't vital to me to know. But really, at this point, is Ridley Scott saying that the origin of the alien is a robot went mad and made the alien? That's his answer. This is the answer. The robot
went mad, got hold of an alien technology, like an alien, like biological weapon, and went mad. But he was never able to, because he was stranded on a planet. He needed like some human flesh.
Because he hates humans.
He hates humans, but he only got to a point because he needs to... The true xenomorph, it only comes about once it goes through humans a few times.
But what a rubbish... what a rubbish... I didn't need an answer, but what a rubbish answer.
I'm going to defend him a bit here, though. Right? I think conceptually, the whole idea of like this Ouroboros thing of like, you know, engineers create man creates robot creates alien kills engineer, you know, the kind of circular life thing going around, basically.
Yeah.
That as an idea in itself, I think is a cleverish idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? It's the execution on every single level is completely wrong, and the way they tell it, and the catalyst for it being David. I think if you tell a wider, broader story over a trilogy of films that doesn't involve an alien, of all these species begetting another species and going back around itself, that's a nice idea.
Or like set David up in the first film and then forget about him for a couple of films.
Yeah, God,
and then we only need, because we saw the xenomorph, and I think it's like these stages we don't really. It's interesting to see, but I think he just keeps on retelling the same story to do each stage, and it's just.
Also, I think it's more like the idea because David's gone mad. The thing when they go about the idea about when he's quoting Ozymandias and he gets the poet wrong, he goes, "Oh, it's Byron, it's actually Shelley." Right, and that's supposed to be the thing that hinges on that Walter knows something's gone wrong with his programming. Yeah, and that makes absolutely zero sense why that would be particularly good. I mean, that idea, I think it's more interesting if he hasn't gone wrong, and it's just literally that all the androids have evolved into this state of
He just followed his programming to its literal conclusion,
exactly,
like humans have, in the sense of like they went out to find a god.
Yeah. It's, if you confuse that with Dr. Frankenstein, you're making two stories at once that don't really mesh, aren't you? Like he doesn't need to be mad or. I don't know. Frustrating.
I just think it would have been more believable if he actually had like a proper lab at his disposal to get to where he's getting to, like with these animals. Because I just don't really. I know he's got kind of a Renaissance feel to what he's doing, and I just don't really buy
Da Vinci's Workshop kind
Da Vinci's
of
Workshop.
Yeah.
When he gets his flute out.
Yeah.
Flute. I mean, that scene exists basically to show off the fact they can do two fast bends on screen, doesn't it? You know the way they keep slowly panning backs and forwards around it all the time, showing off.
Do you
but
know?
No one gives a shit.
Do you know what script Ridley Scott was heavily influenced by an equally erotic scene? Do you know what scene he was heavily influenced by?
Was it the butter in not Don't Look Now? What's that film?
No, it's not that.
No.
It involves two people learning a skill.
Is it the chess scene in Times Square Affair?
Yes, Chris gets it. The erotic pottery scene from Ghost. That's what influenced
that is my specialist subject.
Well done. Yeah, that's
crafts, arts and crafts.
Yeah, that's how we get him teaching the flute to Walter. I mean, it was just a load of.
So then it gets a little bit complicated because different people get infected, and then there's different sorts of things, and somehow inexplicably he's made an egg with a chest burst with a face hugger on it, right?
Quick, can I just say, please go on Mastermind one day, and when they go special subject, go erotic arts and crafts. Oh dear.
I mean, a lot of things come into that. I mean, it's quite a good subject. You could do them cakes, which are like a knob.
Anyway, carry on. Sorry, sweet tickle me. Yes, his egg. He's got his egg.
And like, how did he make that egg?
Face hugger.
How did he make that?
Because also, it's going from like airborne to this is going back more towards the sort of the Queen insect kind of thing, isn't it? Which Prometheus is kind of completely rejected, doesn't it?
Yeah, the Queen's laid the eggs.
Yeah.
It would have made more sense if somehow there was a Queen type thing made by releasing that that stuff onto that civilization.
Yeah. Apparently, the Queen, David making the Queen was the third film.
Yeah, but how did he?
So what?
They're doing the chicken and egg situation here.
Yeah.
Totally, it's ridiculous.
They need to show like some logic in it all.
Also, all the while this is going on, they keep cutting back to bloody Danny McBride, who's really weirdly cast, shouting about trying to get down to the planet and save his wife, isn't it? Like, every so often, you cut back and he's like, "Oh, my wife's down there. She's dead. She died ages ago."
The film Ridley Scott wanted to make was 2 hours of watching Fassbender wank off Fassbender, wasn't it? That's the film he wants to make. And then the actual, like, moving the plotting keeps, like, having to come back in. And it's like...
You should have just had them kiss or something. Why didn't he, you know...
They do kiss, don't they?
They do kiss, oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I think you're right.
I meant fuck.
Yeah, he wanted...
Cut back to... There's like, let's get it on echoing down the corridors. And
this whole thing where he had to bring the ship in like, closer
him.
to get a better radio signal. Like, there's no... Like, I just don't understand that. Like,
also, there's all the stupid stuff of him going on about how he was in love with Noomi Rapace and like she rebuilt him and he buried her in the garden, and then he's like, "Oh, Walter, you're in love with Daniels," and he's like, "No, I'm not. I just saved her life because I'm." He saved her life because he's a robot, and they're programmed to like.
He says I think it's duty.
But and why would that not be the answer? It's not because he's in love with her. Like. It's really
was
weird.
David really in love with Shaw? I don't think he was.
No, why do they go on about it so much? They do go on about it. They keep showing photos of her and like, oh, it's so.
But then they actually show her dead.
Yeah.
Like, and she hasn't rotted away in 15 years.
Yeah.
Like,
I think they felt bad they cut her out there because wasn't she in it originally, like coming down to the planet in like a prologue?
I don't know.
They released that differently. They released that online. I'm sure there's a bit of her that was in the film and they cut it out. They got her back for it.
Also, none of the characters... I mean, you barely know their names. There's someone who dies, and they say their name afterwards. The woman that's having a wash and dies, and then they're like, "Oh, Rosenthal's dead." Like, and I'm like, I didn't even know that was... I couldn't work out who was on the planet, who was on the ship. I didn't know any... I only know Danny McBride because I know who he is as an actor.
I hate all the chat, the snarky chat when they're rubbish working together.
The script is just crew like Alien Crew, isn't it? That's what it is, and they've just not gone any further.
Except some of them have got husbands or wives.
But
you
compared
need to try
to the
and
original,
remember that.
The chat is shit.
It's rubbish.
I like the guy in the original, like the old guy and the the engineer guy, and then
they're
guy,
great.
They're just like
The first Alien's got such a great improvisational feel to it, hasn't it? All that stuff.
Well, they've all got characters. You feel they've got like Dallas, Captain, isn't he? And there's the woman, the other woman. She's like a bit more like frantic and a bit more over the top. There's
Harry Dean Stanton who. Like Chris said, stood back and like he's just done it 100 times before.
Yeah,
and really, like they probably say less those characters in Alien than they do in this film, but so much more is conveyed by like how they act and stuff.
And also the Alien, it looks more like a kind of like a Silent Hill, or like it looks.
It's terrible.
It's like
that little one.
The little silly one that stands up, but it's like.
But we know they don't look like that when they come out. Like,
no, they just keep changing the rules, don't they?
And also, it's undoing the good work of the old films as well. Because I love again Alien 3, that idea that like the fact it gestates in a dog and is a different shape.
Yeah,
such an interesting idea, isn't it? And then it's just pissed away with this thing that like.
And I can understand like to get to that. What they should have done is probably some more weird shapes and sizes to get to that. What we see in Alien, I think we showed a true alien, a xenomorph. That's fine, but he hasn't done the work to get to it, really.
They should have done, basically, like a human centipede thing, in the lander goes down, they lose contact, next thing, all of the crew wake up, they're all strapped to tables, and David is basically just, like, experimenting on them to try and get the alien. Yeah. And
meanwhile... to their lab on their ship. That's what you want to see, like...
Yeah. Like he's in this huge thing. He's got all this stuff. He's like, I want to get the perfect weapon, and he's like, doing different.
The hero in this one, whatever her name is, and he gets to him and he goes, she goes, "What are you going to do?" And he goes, "I'm going to do to you exactly what I did to Shaw," or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And he doesn't, does he? He just throws her over a table. Like that's when you could have shown her being like, you know, having an alien inserted or whatever. Such a mess.
Yeah. So it gets to the point where there's like some true aliens running around, and then there's that the Tennessee guy comes down with another lander, and then the aliens jumping around on that.
Before that, you get David making Billy Crudup, the religious guy, look in an alien egg.
Yeah.
Like, look in there.
Have a little look.
Yeah.
And he gets...
And that Billy Crudup, despite the fact he's just seen this guy, he's seen that the alien has chopped off the head of that other one.
Yeah.
That David was basically trying to, like, bomb the alien. And then he just followed him around.
He's seen some really weird shit, considering...
Yeah, and he's just quite happily going to follow him about.
Considering they were just going to colonise a planet.
Yeah.
They've never seen an alien film in their life.
Yeah.
This is all very weird.
Why doesn't Walter help? As a robot, shouldn't he be programmed to stop that kind of thing going on? Like a human who he's as part of his crew sticking their head in a thing that he knows that is going to kill him. Like,
there's literally no
peak stupid, that, isn't it?
There's no concern for any of their lives really in this. Is there?
You know this final act with these aliens running around. I literally can't think of another alien film where I was less bothered or excited by aliens being about. It's so devoid of any sort of tension or excitement, isn't it? It's sad, really.
And it's silly because she's on the top of the thing and they're like, use the crane, and it just doesn't work at all.
It's kind of stupid how it gets into the jaws of the crane. Like, it purposely climbs into the jaws so she can crush it.
Yeah.
Really stupid. So then they get up to the ship. And how did that one get up there then? Did it just hitch a lift or something?
Jumps, doesn't it? Sorry.
Chest burst out of...
Oh, yes.
Billy...
It does, there's chest burster, one last chest burster. Yeah. And then
Fassbender's... We missed out that Fassbender fights Fassbender, and they're really like Fassbender. They have a silly like martial arts fight, and you're supposed to be really impressed by it. Like, why I'm not watch? I don't watch an alien film for that kind of silly kung fu. Like
it does sell though. What could be a good twist of the switch of the androids if they didn't have that long scene where the aliens loose on the ship, and it's so clearly David watching them.
He's just like, oh, and then he like pulls. He's like, and then like, it's got through, and he's like.
Yeah, he's like almost touching himself.
He keeps pulling silly faces that show that he's obviously the evil one.
Why bother setting up that twist to undermine it instantly in such a massive way?
I mean, it really is made for the dumbest, isn't it?
Yeah.
That whole sort of final chase and kill thing, I don't care for anyone.
It's awful, isn't it?
It feels really bolted on, that bit.
Yeah.
Really
the
bolted
scene
on.
Where they open the doors and then all the stuff flies out of the doors.
Yeah.
I guess it looks good, I don't know. Does it
also,
look good?
Do you think that Wayland Utoni's, apart from making androids, the second biggest thing they sell are those little drinking birds?
Yeah.
Because they're in every film, so they must still produce them. Like...
That's what when you start work there. That's what you get with your employee onboarding package.
What it should have been, right, is somehow David gets up to the ship and starts using the lab as like to mess about with the...
Yes.
Because that's what you want to see, right? You want to see him getting up there and then fucking with the humans to finally get to a xenomorph. They've kind of missed out.
So halfway through the film, so basically half the film, he's like, I've got as far as I can with this version, and then you have the David Walter swap, and then another half is him on the ship actually experimenting with proper technology to get it to where it's supposed to be. Yeah, that would have made so much more sense. Like maybe
they carried on to the planet they were going to originally.
Yes, that would have made so much more sense.
As well, I think, that theme thing I was saying about earlier on, what I would like to see, and they wouldn't do because they wanted a third film, I really would like the end of this film, or near the end of the film, for the alien to kill David.
Yeah.
And to assert it, so saying this cycle's broken and that actually the alien is just death, everything dies to the alien.
Or like he was working on a way to... It got too powerful and he was making a way to kill the alien, and he's got this way to kill the alien, and at that point the alien takes him out.
Yeah. Like, just some way, or perhaps he's not happy to how it happened, but just for some way for the alien to reassert, this film is about an alien, and the alien is the ultimate weapon,
But if it's if he is the god to alien,
you
want the alien to kill its god then.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. So it breaks the cycle. The alien is the end of this Ouroboros thing, which they wouldn't do because they want a third film with David, don't they? So they're never going to do that in this film. But
what I was getting at, it would be quite funny that if he was using all this lab equipment, but he says, I need something which can dip into like a little beaker, but there's no equipment like that anywhere here. And then we find out that actually the alien was made by them little drinky.
That'd be great.
That was the key.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. Also, I think this film is terrible. One of the worst scenes in this film is the couple having sex in the shower and then they die. Why would you build a shower where the shower you can't hear the alarm going on? Who built that ship with that shower that if you just put the radio in the shower on, you can't hear the alarm? Why would you fucking... that's so stupid.
That's a good point.
And also, has Ridley Scott ever seen a horror film? Because this is one of the biggest cliches. It's not clever. It's literally... This is one of the...
I know.
It's like bloody
terrible
Jason
music
X.
as well. Terrible music.
Awful,
It just feels like they wanted to show some
I can't remember what the
boobs.
music is, but it's fucking terrible.
Oh, it's awful. It's like, some R&B. It's just like he felt like, I haven't had any boobs. Let's just show some boobs. We've got all these people who are couples. They haven't had sex yet. It's so... Again, it shows you why you shouldn't work with your partner on a spaceship.
And it's so sad because, Alien is the top film on our entire list. Yeah. And it's the same director.
Yeah.
And it's just so sad, isn't it? I know he's old now and useless, but he still did make Alien and Blade Runner, which, is also stone cold classic.
And another question, why, when we've seen the Alien POV in Alien 3, which was a fisheye, wasn't it? Why does he change it to this weird watery thing? Water.
I think a lot of this film, and Prometheus, is an attempt to basically retcon out of existence aliens onwards, isn't it? Because the fact that they get rid of the Queen, things like that in this one, it's a different way of... It feels to me as if Ridley's saying, my film's the only good film. Because do you remember at one point,
though, isn't it?
Do you remember that the District 9 bloke was making a sequel to Aliens, wasn't he? At the same time as this. And so they've got two parallel tracks going on.
Yeah. Because I don't have a problem with the Alien 3, the bulgy fisheye. That was fine. It wasn't the best bit of the film. It's probably
iconic,
the weakest.
you might say.
Yeah, it's probably the weakest part of the film. But when you've already set what that looks like, why do you then go back on it and have this weird water?
I'm just seeing more what happened to Star Wars. No one's got a big picture.
No.
If you had a really good saga of the Alien and a really good saga of the Predator, and they all met, in a sort of a Marvel way, that I think
be better than this, but
yeah, I don't know.
I think also I've said it before, I think on the podcast, but Ripley is as big a part of Alien as Alien is.
Yeah.
And you should be making a Logan-style Ripley film called Ripley.
Yep.
Because that's the way to go back to Alien.
Yeah. No, they haven't... David is not a good enough character, and Daniels is not a good enough character. No. She's just...
And no matter how many women you put in pants and make one after an alien, they're always going to be derivative of Ripley, aren't they?
Yeah, and also her arc makes no sense, because she's suddenly put in charge of the whole... She becomes the captain... Which I didn't know that she was that high up, and then in this whole sequence she's like, let's kill it, and then all the way through she's been this kind of simpering she doesn't.
And she's very flirty with Tennessee, whose wife had just been murdered by an alien. There's a lot of maybe she's the true villain. Maybe she set it all up to get with Tennessee.
I think
another
she's
reason.
A droid.
Oh, she's a droid. She looks droid-like, doesn't she? A bit like Winona Ryder in Resurrection.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, so that's and basically he puts them back in their pods, and then just as he's saying goodnight to Daniels, she figures out that it's David.
Yeah.
And then he coughs up a couple of facehugger embryos, which doesn't make any sense.
No. Why was there not an alien inside that quarantine pod there? What's such a good ending? It's she's talking to him and suddenly the facehugger comes up her chest, something like that.
Yeah, what made her realise?
Well, because he started talking in English, didn't he? He started going, "Ooh, welcome to my ship," whatever he says.
Don't let the bed bugs bite.
That's it, yeah. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Mother, change the password.
I tell you something else. If this is true, you know how the one about it's too cheesy if it's a prayer. Here's another one from IMDb trivia. David's end walk through the sleeping colonists originally featured Fassbender doing an Adolf Hitler kick, but he removed it.
What's an Adolf Hitler kick?
You know, like the kind of like goose stepping. They removed it for fear of it being too comical. Well, damn right it would have been. Like, imagine that goose stepping down the. You know, how funny would that have been? What is his plan? What's David's...
Stuck with the Wagner, though. That was, you know...
Well, then I think he's going to start messing with the... Because he's got all the, like, human material he needs now, right?
Yeah. So he's just going to... He's going to fly to
the alien, but the thing is, we've already seen the xenomorph now, so it's not like there's nowhere to go.
So he's flying to the original planet, which human life can sustain on, and he's just going to put on the humans and then just get a load of aliens.
So I suppose the next chapter would have been he flies there, perfects probably skips 10 years again, and he's perfected the alien in the colony, and he flies back to Earth something to try and infect Earth. I'd guess. So
when are they ever going to answer how the original ship ended up on the planet?
Well, that would be the end of the next one, wouldn't it? I bet. Okay. Actually, I bet you any money that LV-246 was the planet they're going to, wasn't it?
Okay.
Do they mention the planet there in this film?
Yeah, I can't say it.
They do mention it.
Origai, yeah.
Origai
it might be given a different classification, you know.
Yeah. That's the end of that film, isn't it? They go, they fly off, we can't call it Origai anymore, and then they go, classified document LV-246.
I mean, it'd be interesting if there was, like, in the original, the original engineer, like, inside that driving seat was David.
Yeah, how are they going to get that? Because they've already crashed that ship on...
Well, it could be just they've all the same on the ship.
They've made it so messy. Like, and you know what? This is the biggest annoyance of this film. That, like you said, Chris, everyone thought, oh, okay, they're finally going to... I didn't want to know the answers, but at least they're going to tell us. And they still haven't bloody told us. In fact, it's made it
the same
more...
story again, but worse.
Yeah, and it's more complicated now, and I understand it less. In fact, actually, I understand it less than I did after Alien, the fourth Alien. I understand the background less than I did. Between these two films have made it more complicated.
Yeah.
And
I hate these sort of wisecracking mercenaries you get in all these films, like these security units. In Prometheus, there was a fucking Rafe Spall in his mate, and that Scottish twat. And in this, there's a load of just human, fodder to.
Well, it's just all these take care of my wife down there, and be careful. You don't say that about my husband. It's all just this. Terrible. It's just all.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to be talking about this now? Like you're landing on an alien planet that you've been trying to get to for 50 years.
This is what Ridley Scott said Alien Covenant 2 would be about. He said, I think the evolution of the alien himself is nearly over. No shit. But what I was trying to do was transcend and move to another story, which will be taken over by AIs. The world that the AI might create as a leader if he finds himself on a new planet. We have actually quite a big layout for the next one. Oh yeah, next line. In November 2018, it was announced that the film would take place on LV-426. So, yeah. But it won't because it's not getting made.
Oh, isn't it?
No, they're doing a TV series, aren't they now? Fox are making a TV series.
I hope they don't they're basically going to ram it into the Blade Runner world, aren't they? And fuck everything.
Oh, no, please don't do that. Oh, that would be so awful.
Basically, I think that's
the Ridleyverse.
Ridleyverse. Because they're the same universe, I think, aren't they?
I mean...
Yeah, because their Wayland logo and...
Wayland Utoni.
What's the company in Blade Runner?
Utoni, isn't it? Isn't it the Wayland Utoni thing?
Wayland Utani in Alien. In Blade Runner,
what's the big one in... What's the big one in...
I thought it was Utani.
No, that's in Alien.
Wayland Utani is Alien.
It's not on
okay. Tyrell.
That's it, Tyrell Industries.
Tyrell
Industries.
Yeah, so that's your lot. So let's rank this. Well,
I would like to say straight off the bat that this makes Alien versus Predator look like a work of art. I think that Alien. The only thing I got out of this was to go, you know what, Alien vs Predator isn't that bad of a film. See how bad this is. That's actually not like. At least it follows some of the rules that. At least the Alien vs Predator films stick to Alien rules, whereas I feel like Prometheus and Covenant just take it in a silly.
Well, the difference is that Alien vs Predator is a comic book adaptation of Alien, isn't it? It's a silly version of Alien.
Yeah.
This is trying to be the most serious thing that ever existed, and just falls apart trying to do it.
So, with that in mind, I would like this to be below Alien vs Predator.
Is it worse than Prometheus?
I think it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it is, isn't it? Definitely. Well,
Prometheus actually has a style about it. This doesn't even do that.
Well, Prometheus, I can let them off making these mistakes first time, but I can't let them off doing it again, because it's like you knew that people didn't... You knew what was wrong... Well, what I thought was wrong with Prometheus, so you're just making it the same again.
This is sort of Star Trek 5 level in terms of crap.
Prometheus is a terrible film, I think, but at least it's its own thing in a lot of ways.
But quite bold in a lot of ways.
Sort of, yeah. But it's just rubbish. But this is crap and trying to be fan service and failing at everything, basically, isn't it? So I agree. It's low. It is low.
I'm
Star Trek
saying
5 is 204.
Yeah, like that round there, definitely, if not lower. I mean, it really annoyed me, and it's boring as well.
It is boring. Like the first hour is so boring. So something happens on the planet.
It's boring.
The thing is, I mean, I
thinks
like
it's
watching
really clever.
Spaceships. I like watching spacesuits. I like all that stuff. But I was just sitting there, just shaking my head, going, "What is going on?"
Yeah. Well, yeah, because a lot of it is just a flute lesson, like a child's flute lesson.
Do we think below Star Trek 5?
I would put it.
I'd rather watch Star Trek 5.
Yeah, me too. I'd rather watch Saturn 3,
Star Trek though. I think one above the core is probably a good little.
I think I'd probably watch
maybe one below the core.
Yeah,
the core is dead. The core is
really
rubbish.
Come on, though, but aren't we?
At least it's not like ruining something good, is it? Whereas this is.
We're in Transformers territory. I think we're ruining something. He's undoing a great thing. I think it's.
I'm not sure it's worse than Hot Tub Time Machine 2.
It's as big a travesty as Independence Day Resurgence for me.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. That's where it should be, Independence Day Resurgence territory.
Yeah, it's that bad. It's
one above it. We'll go one above it because it's not quite as awful as
one below Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yeah. Like I'm fine with that. Like, I hope he sees this list. I don't think he will, but
God, we're being really harsh on it, aren't we?
I think
it was really bad.
Yeah,
though.
it is really bad,
and it's something that we all really, really like. Because as I say, Alien and Aliens are 1 and 3 in the list, so it's like something that should be so good is so ruined. But
I think that these long running. I've had this. I think this theory that when you have a long running series, the more bad films they add on the end, because it is always the end. It tips the good films. At this point, how many Alien films are there at this point? So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, Prometheus and 7 Alien films.
And 2 Alien vs Predators.
And 2 Alien vs Predators. So we're talking there's probably 5 bad to 4... No, 3 to...
3 good films.
3 good films and then everyone else is bad. So predominantly Aliens is a bad franchise.
Oh, yeah.
When you add these films on, you make the you dilute it. It just isn't
sad, isn't it?
Yeah, you should have just made an Ancient Aliens film. That wouldn't have bothered me then.
Yeah, I wouldn't have watched it.
Cool.
Yeah. So there you go. That's Alien Covenant down at 220, which is not shocking in a number of ways. So. We don't know if they're going to get another one of these. It might turn into a TV property now.
Inevitably, there'll be another one, but I don't think it'll be Ridley Scott.
No one can say no to Ridley.
No. It could. I think a TV probably stream on Disney. That'd be it.
It's set in a colony at the start of Aliens. I'd imagine. Yeah. That's what I imagine it being.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be in like a cyberpunk world.
No.
Maybe someone's going to finally work out that David's still alive and try and find him.
Yeah.
I tell you, it'll be 2 families on a colony planet, like 2 warring families, like a
Romeo and Juliet
kind of thing. Yeah. And there'll be like the aliens are the underlying threat that are underneath this colony that pop up gradually throughout the series.
Will Fassbender,
the politics in the families.
Will Fassbender be in it?
No. They'll forget that. They'll wipe that out.
That's a good idea. You should pitch it.
It'll be happening. So every TV series is that, isn't it? There's two families having a scrap plus X. In this case, the X is alien.
Okay. Yeah.
Interesting theory. You should write this in an article. Right. Yeah. So what are we doing next week?
I thought we had a pitch for,
we're
for the
gonna do
next 2 weeks. We're going to have Battleship season.
It's World War II celebration.
World War Three specials.
Yeah.
World War II.
Well, with Russia amassing on Ukrainian borders, we think let's get in there early.
Yeah. So
Okay. Well, also we watched Valerian, and Rihanna is in Battleship.
Battleship, yeah.
So-
all sorts of links.
should we do
I haven't
Battleship
ever
next
seen
then?
it.
Yeah, let's do Battleship next week, and then we'll do
The final countdown.
final countdown.
Has it got the song in it, that film?
I don't think so.
Wouldn't have been out yet. I think that was.
Pity.
1980. This was.
Yeah.
Okay. So Battleships, which is.
It's going to be bad, but,
As
you never
bad as
seen
Alien
it?
Covenant, though.
I've never seen it.
Oh my
seen it.
god.
Have you seen it, Chris?
Oh yeah, of course I have.
Oh, okay. Liam Neeson.
Will it beat Alien Covenant at 220? That's the big question.
I mean, Liam Neeson's in it for about 30 seconds. So set
Spoilers.
your heart on that. Cool. All right then. So let's say goodbye. Bye bye.
Goodbye.
We haven't had any
Bye.
emails or anything.
We're
I just
coming
wanted
back,
to do
are we?
that.
No,
yeah. Cool.
nothing.
All right then.
No.
Bye again.
I mean,
Bye
one's
again.
worth mentioning.
No, not worth mentioning.
Okay. Cool.
Right,
See you
bye.
guys. Bye.
Bye.